Hey guys, Fat Preacher Man here, and don't tell my family, but I think I'm sick. What do you guys do when you're sick? I mean, I'm the last one to get sick. I think if you watch one of my other videos, it was a parody. And man, I gotta say this real quick. What is up with everybody on YouTube not having a freaking sense of humor? I mean, really, it's a joke. And I mean, this whole end of the world thing, I believe the world is going to end one day, but it's definitely not going to be because the Mayan calendar predicted it. You know, I can't say that I know when it's going to be, but I don't think a civilization that died out that long ago with no history but stone tablets left behind is going to be able to tell us when it's going to end, especially when they couldn't predict their own end or find a way around it. It's ridiculous. Anyway, back to the question at hand. You know, what do you do when you're sick? Do you curl up? Do you fight through it? Are you concerned about making others sick? Or is it just about you, what you need to get done? I know I've done both extremes. I've curled up, stayed at home, and then there's times when I was a manager running a restaurant, and I just, I did my best to stay away from everything food-related. But I had to go in, and there was nobody else. So I kind of managed from the office. And boy, at the end of the day, I felt like dying. But, even if you work at home or you work in a way where you won't affect people, do you push through? Or what medicines do you take? Do you go to the doctor? I know my wife, she, in my opinion, I mean, I love her and I thank God for her, but she's kind of quick to go to the doctor. Personally, I will not go to the doctor unless she forces me or there's something so out of control that I can't handle it. Like one time, it was a few winters, 4 or 5 winters ago, and I was returning movies to Blockbuster. You know it's old now, right? And it was really late at night. It was like 2 in the morning. They were closed, and it had in the ground, the pavement had iced over. And I got out the van, and I was going to stick the movies in the drop slot and walk back to the van. Well, I didn't realize that it was, black ice, that the blacktop had iced over. So I went to walk across it, and my feet came out from under me. And man, I fell backwards and bust my head right on that pavement, and I blacked out. And I woke up, and I had slid from where I fell a good 10, 15 feet because it was at a slight incline, and the movies were over there by the... So I had to crawl on my hands and knees, pick up the movies, and make my way to the sidewalk so I could drop the movies in the slot. And of course, I grabbed the back of my head, not realizing that it was busted open and bleeding. And so I got blood all over the movies, and it was bad. And as I'm, standing up against the wall, woozy and whatnot, there's a cop across the street. And he had actually stopped because he saw me getting up, and he asked if I was okay. And I had to make it home. I mean, there was no going to the hospital. There was no him taking. So I waved him off. But as I went to drop the movies in the slot, I realized they were covered in blood. So I just, afterwards I thought about the poor attendants at Blockbuster who had to open the drop box and take out my movies. It's not funny, but it is funny at the same time. But, like that. I mean, I wasn't sick, but I probably should have went to the doctor right then to get stitches, but I waited till the next day when my wife got home from work because she worked the overnight shift, and she forced me to go, and the nurse was like, well, because I put a towel on my head and I just left it there, and she said, well, it's kind of late now, but we can still put the staples on. You should have came. But how do you feel about that? What is your limit? When will you go to the doctor? When won't you? Like I said, my family and I have been fighting a cold. And if you watch my other video, like I started to say, about the end of the world, where I actually just reviewed tissues, and I had bought these tissues, which are really nice, Cool Touch, I believe they're called, by Kleenex, for my kids, because they've been blowing their nose so much that it begins to get raw. So these Cool Touch are actually cool to the touch. And I was reading the box, and I think it's because they put alcohol and then cover it with some type of covering, so that it's your skin wears through the covering and you actually feel the alcohol, which is cool to the touch. So when you put it on you, it's cool. So anyway, it's pretty neat. Highly recommend them. But anyway, so I bought these for my family, and at the time I had not yet fallen sick, but now I'm beginning to feel it in my head and in my throat, but definitely not as bad as them. I mean, by this point they were coughing and sneezing and sore throat. So even if I am getting sick, it feels like it's a lesser version. But out of the 5 of us, I am the last man standing as far as not getting sick. So I'm really trying to hold on and not get sick so I can take care of them and get them through this, so that if I do have to go out for a little bit, you know, them take care of me, that they will all be better first, because there's nothing worse than a house full of sick people. How do you deal with stuff like that? Again, you go to doctors, you rely on family. Do you just curl up, or what's that? Those adages: feed a fever, starve a cold, or starve a fever, feed a cold. I don't know. Anyway, chicken soup. What do you do? Comment section below. Come on, guys, hit me up. Let me know. Love to hear from you. Again, thanks for watching. You guys have a wonderful Christmas. Jesus bless you, and good gaming. Subscribe.